That, I would like to bring my sponsor and our guest, Eric Welch, to the floor.
That's probably good. Did my wife set you up to this? Who put me on a short leash? That's good. I can tell where that came from. Well, thanks for coming, everyone. Hopefully everyone can fit in the room. My wife isn't here tonight. We just had a baby. For those of you who are new or don't know, I make sure to show, because she's the favorite part of the two. And all the ladies always miss seeing Heidi because she's better than me, so I figured I'd show you a picture. Talk about for a minute is, it'll be easy to see the magnitude of why the product is so significant when Dr. Templeman shares his knowledge. But what I didn't understand when I started doing this, actually it's 4 years ago this month, this week is actually when I started 4 years ago. And I had no idea what we were in for. I didn't understand how something like this could work. I didn't understand the significance of it from a business standpoint. And I was kind of like how most people are. When you don't understand something enough to like it, you tend to be negative about it, right? This is kind of how we are in general. And I didn't base my opinion that I was holding on the facts. I based it on, I don't really know what I based it on, but of course everyone has an opinion on everything, right? It's not too hard to have an opinion. So I almost dismissed this whole thing, and I'm glad I didn't from a business standpoint, because not only has our business growth touched thousands of people's lives from a product perspective, but it's completely changed a lot of people's lives from an economic perspective. And nowadays, 4 years ago this time, I had economic, slowdown. I was in desperate need of a bailout package, and Xango was mine. But now I've created my own economy, and the economy, I could really care less what's going on with the economy personally, because it's no effect to me, because my personal income is completely in my control. Well, I didn't realize how sweet that would feel 4 years ago when I started it. But this is just in a 90-day period last year. That's Heidi 9 Venice, completely paid for by the company. That's Heidi 9 Florida, and that's Heidi 9 Cayman Islands. And none of those trips were on our list, I can guarantee you that, 4 years ago this time. Not even intention for any reason, much less any possible ability to afford that kind of thing. But we have a business. This is my crew. The picture is, that's from May. And we've been to Disney World twice in a year and a half with 5 kids, so you can imagine it costs a little bit to go into Mickey with 7 people, now 8, right? And this is 4 years ago this time, we were wondering if we'd be able to stay in our house. We were about ready to lose our little ranch house we had in Manitowoc, and because we just didn't have anything going on. My wife was at home full time on purpose, but I was at home full time not on purpose. I didn't have a job. And I'm sure people can relate nowadays, which back then that was a lot smaller category. And we were wondering, what was going to happen. And now we live on, this is our backyard. We have 5 acres on the Manitowoc River, and we have to pinch ourselves. And the reason I'm showing these slides is because there's reason to hope if you watch too much of the news, you might want to put a gun to your head at night, nowadays, if you're paying too much attention to that. But I was at the same point where a lot of people feel right now, 4 years ago when I started. But I took this seriously, and I decided that this was going to be my vehicle to get me somewhere, and I wasn't going to miss it. And with what you're going to hear tonight, you may want to decide to flip a switch where you don't want to miss this, okay? Because when you hook your wagon to a fast-moving train, you kind of get sucked along with the momentum of it, and we're certainly part of a fast-moving train. And now I get to do what I want to do, and I was never highly money motivated, but I wanted to own my time. I have these beautiful young children, and they want their daddy around. They just don't want a paycheck from dad. They want dad, right? And that's tough to do in today's world for men, much less, moms, and or moms, much less dads. But so. Here he is, our newest addition. He was born on the 25th, and he came out at fighting weight, over 9 pounds. And so he's a big boy, and he's healthy, mommy's healthy, and everyone's having fun. So I call it what's happened so far in Xango is phase 1. We came out with the first mangosteen supplement in the world, and that's significant, and I'm going to let Dr. Templeman amplify the significance of that. But when you do something first and you do it well, you typically maintain that position, right, in the mind of consumers. And it's gone on to be the fastest growing health supplement in the world, and we're the fastest growing network marketing company in history. So there's a lot of things, I'll talk more about network marketing because everyone tends to have some thoughts on that, but most of them aren't really accurate according to what it's really like to do this business if you do it right. And this is the mangosteen fruit. This is the concept here, and I'm not going to get into the science because the expert is here with us tonight. This is, you need to understand the fact that we own the idea of a mangosteen supplementation. Okay, that's Xango's niche. That's where Xango has been intending to do from day one, and it's clearly what they've accomplished. Okay, we are the mangosteen supplement company on the face of the earth, and that's only going to continue to grow. I'll give you an example to compare that to. At one point in time, aloe vera, that's an aloe plant, in case you don't know what it looks like as a plant, and there's a company that brought it to market, Forever Living Products. And there's only a handful of curative properties that have been studied from the aloe vera. There's dozens more that have been identified already in the mangosteen, and dozens more coming, and I'm sure Dr. Templeman could enlighten us for several hours on that. But the point is this company educated the world on the wonders of aloe, and they've had a pretty good run of it, right? And half of the world's aloe still goes through this company today. They're in over 100 countries, 10 million distributors, you know, $2.some billion a year in sales, and doing amazingly well, and they never branded it. They don't completely own the category of aloe like we own the category of mangosteen. So there's a little bit of a history of another thing in the past that might indicate where we're going. So it's been used for hundreds of years in this part of the world, and the reason that's significant is because, to me, that's the best clinical trial study you could get. Millions of people times hundreds of years times they don't have a drive-through Walgreens pharmacy in the jungles of Burma, right? You know, you either treat or prevent with what's in nature, and this is their prized possession when it comes to that type of thing. Dr. Teltman will tell us about the unique properties that are in this fruit that aren't found in other edible substances, and that there's, you know, what's amazing to this from people that are really into science is that the science was predating the existing of a product, you know, much of it. There's a lot of new science coming out now because the scientific community has become well aware of this. And the biggest one that we're excited about is inflammation as a potent natural anti-inflammatory. From a business perspective, that's a $50 billion market in the United States alone, the anti-inflammatory drug market. And there's not a whole lot of options on the market that you could identify that are potent natural anti-inflammatories that you can get my kids to take every day for prevention, right? Just a pretty short list. And so that type of significance from a product perspective and the uniqueness of it has really gotten the attention. And I'll just show you some examples how the mainstream has really started to pick up on this. Of course, that was American Cancer Society. And we have this is supermodel Kate Moss about a year ago talking about how she started, you know, she found this mangosteen and she was drinking it and she started to look better and she didn't even get hangovers. So she parties like a supermodel and doesn't get hangovers. So speaking of, that's a whole niche market in Wisconsin we could really capitalize on, you know. We got work to do. You know, it's the ending shot for the day at the bars, right? You know, 2 ounces of mangosteen. This is Drew Brees talking about it. Lots of sports people really picking up on it for recovery and injury things. This is Men's Health last summer talking about it. So, and there's dozens and dozens more. Of course, Xango, if you didn't know, you saw the big sign in the hallway. Xango recently took the wonders of the mangosteen and put it into a topical formulation with the Glimpse Intuitive Skincare. Well, this is an interesting slide because who here has heard of Aveda? What's Aveda known for? What's kind of, when you think of Aveda?
Hair product.
But, like, they're kind of high-end, right? Kind of exclusive, they're salon only, you know, that kind of thing. Natural, cutting edge. Well, here you have the Research and Development Director, Pat Peterson for Aveda, which is owned by Estee Lauder, the largest skincare company on the planet. And this is in November of 2007. They asked her at their big industry trade show, what are the hot natural ingredients to watch for in the coming year? And she talked about a couple things, and then she said mangosteen has been on the fringes of the nutrient world, interesting for all sorts of things. So Estee Lauder / Aveda was already back in the laboratory tinkering with mangosteen, trying to figure out how to get it to be the next big thing in skincare. But we already had it. They just didn't know it. Okay? So this is a huge deal, what we have in our Glimpse product. I don't think we even recognize it yet. It's been on the market since November. I don't think we've even scratched the surface of the significance of that. So here's what that looks like. Who here has been using Glimpse and noticed something in the mirror? Right? I'm even using it, and I'm kind of a caveman when it comes to this kind of stuff, but actually, I don't have it in here, but I used it on half my face for 4 weeks, and this side of my face still hasn't caught up with this side. And if I did have my glasses on, you could see it, but I don't want you to look at me like I'm a freak for the next 20 minutes, so I'm going to keep my glasses on. So, you're not even listening to me anymore. Oh yeah, you're right, his face is looking kind of weird there, you know? So.